Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. And don't forget, on the 4th of June at 7 p.m. here at Tales from the Jails on YouTube, we've got a live broadcast where you can ask me questions. And I do sincerely hope that you do. And by the way, please keep the comments coming and do like and subscribe. And don't forget, folks, it's there on Amazon. If you've not read it, there's 3 copies now. Three, part 1, 2 and 3. HMP Manchester Prison Officer by this guy, John G. Sutton. And I actually do write my own books. I've written loads of books. I'm going to talk today because there was quite a popular response to the story I gave, the details, the account I gave of my association with Most Haunted's famous fake, Derek Acorah. Yeah, I'm talking a little bit about working with him. Well, we had a big problem towards the end of my association with Acorah because he became opinionated and believed that he was a show business personality, a star, and so instead of taking directions as he had been doing and achieving a great deal of success from absolutely going nowhere, from the back streets of Liverpool, which is where he was working, to a television series, a book published by an international publisher, published internationally, to stage shows in America, stage shows in England on the #1 theatre circuit, and a television series that I was negotiating for him, and also writing scripts for films that he was scheduled to make, and organising the International Society for Paranormal Research to take part in these films and to actually assist with the production. It was Derek Acorah's idea that he would go his own sweet way. And when I advised him, listen, this is the absolute God's honest truth here. You look up on Amazon at his book, The Psychic World of Derek Acorah. You get that up and you'll see my name on the front because I wrote that book from cover to cover. And a lot of the details, it took me a long time to interview him because it wasn't easy. Because he just said, just get on with it. You know, he wasn't interested. And one of the problems I had with him, I said, designed his stage presence, because what I did was, when we hired the Liverpool Empire Theatre, which seats 2,500 people, by the way, massive great theatre where the Beatles played in Liverpool at the very height of their success in 1964. The Beatles played there, all the big names played the Liverpool Empire. Derek Acorah played the Liverpool Empire, and it was produced and directed by me. I hired in a company that had cameras and screens, and that's how his stage act, because I designed his stage act. If you'd ever seen him on stage, basically he had a massive great screen behind him. He had 2 cameras, one on him and one into the audience with radio mics, so that when he was doing messages into the audience, the cameras were on the person in the audience, and it was a split screen with Derek Acorah on one side and the audience member on the other, and professional sound equipment, which was mine, by the way. Actually broadcasting, because it's a little known fact that when you hire one of these massive great #1 theatre circuit venues, there's no sound. They don't have a sound system in there. You take your own sound. That's mainly because a lot of the professional pop groups and all that, they couldn't use a standard sound system because it wouldn't work for their sound. Each performance has to produce its own audio. And if you want to film it, then you actually have to take your own cameras. And a lot of the venues will not allow you to film a performance unless you have the written authority of the theatre owners. Yeah, and I did at that point. And believe it or not, the Liverpool Empire Theatre is actually haunted. there was a ghost of a lady at the top, on the highest level, on the gods, and she frequently appears. We did a ghost bust at the Empire Theatre, along with the ISPR and Dr. Larry Montz, and a guy called Peter James. Now, there may be those among you who are familiar with the name of Peter James. I call him Black Tash, because he had a very black tash and very white hair, which was a wig, by the way, because he was completely bald. But he had a white hair wig and a black tash, and he did about 80 episodes in America on network American television of a show called Sightings. One of his his best known appearances was on the Queen Mary ship. That's used as people have a ghost hunts around it there, and he did that. He did Alcatraz as well. And I wrote a number of scripts for Derek Acorah, one of which involved going to Egypt, which we were planning to do, to go to Egypt and get permission to film at the Sphinx and at the pyramids. Of course, when he decided that he wasn't going to abide by his contract, then matters came to an end. At the start, he was spending half the day trying to get through to talk to me, and I had to talk him through what the next step was in the career, how you get there, because I'd done it a number of times for various people, and of which I may talk about as we go forward, because some of them are quite litigious and don't like me discussing it. Yeah, especially the bits I wrote about them in Private Eye, because for a period of time I knew the editors at Private Eye, one of which was Francis Ween, who agreed to publish one of my exposés, which he did, which was not very well received by the subject. Well, we'll talk about that in time. Yeah, but in the meantime, let me tell you this about Acorah. The reason, anybody who'd been to one of his presentations will have seen that when he was on stage, he was giving messages to the first 4 or 5 rows in the front of the auditorium. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. 2 reasons. One is he was at the height of his success. What he was doing was buying himself the first couple of rows and then selling the tickets at an advanced price. Now, if you were in the first 2 rows, your likelihood is, and you wanted to pay good money for that, because you pay more money, then he would be likely selling to people who had actually seen him for a private reading. So the people in the first 2 or 3 rows would be known to him. And that's why he gave messages mainly to the front. When I took him to the Liverpool Empire, he was on for just under 2 hours, and in the full 2 hours, he gave 5 separate connections. 5, that's all. It's ridiculous. I said to him, listen, you can't do that. You've got to really get out there and give messages right up to the gods, right into the back of the stalls, all the way around the theatre. People have paid to come in to see you. I said, and they don't just want to hear the waffle. I also designed part of his act where I said, when you pick up somebody who used to like driving a motorbike or a cycle, so you go up and down the stage, play acting, driving a cycle, like brum, 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 like that, because he had a mic on, and so that's why when you'd seen Derek Acorah, it came across as a bit like a cross between Norman Wisdom and Doris Stokes. That was my idea, you see, and it absolutely fabulously worked. People found him hilarious and entertaining, and he gave them psychic messages as well. And that's what he was doing at the beginning, but he kind of lost the plot and went completely over the top with his show business. And I said to him, what you're doing at the moment amounts to an insult to the people who have paid good money to come in, because you're just not giving them value for money. My belief is people pay good money for entertainment, you give them what they've paid for. And this is God's honest truth. Yeah, I said to him, you can't continue doing this, you're going to lose your audience. He said if they don't like it, they can fuck off. You know, seriously. He didn't care about the bloody audience. Anyway, and then he started dressing in pink suits and lavender suits and smothering himself with half a bottle of Aramis, because that's what he used to wear. Anyway, Derek Acorah shouldn't speak ill of the dead. I hope you're doing well in the next dimension. I hope it's not too hot down there. Anyway, I'm going to read you a poem now. Here we are. That's a song, Dinger. Larry, grab your goat, head for the hills. Yeah, I'm going to read you a poem now. I'm going to read it slightly different. I've done this before. It's by Dylan Thomas, who's one of my favourite poets. This is Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learn, too late, they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. By Dylan Thomas. That's Tales from the Jails today, folks. Sincerely hope you helped it. Don't forget, 4th of June, 7 p.m, Tales from the Jails.